Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick and welcome to Travel and Live Free. Today I get to interview my friend Patty. We've been friends for a while now. We met at the meetup that I run called Travel and Live Free here in Richmond, BC, Canada. And Patty has traveled to many places around the world, and one of her best trip is actually when she took an 18 months to go around the world solo female travel, which I think is super awesome. So Patty, welcome. Awesome to have you here.
Hi.
And so Patty, let's start with, why did you do it? Why did you travel around the world for 18 months? You know, a lot of people would never even think of doing that. Or maybe they think about doing it, but they'll never do it. So what made you do it?
So I would have to say the biggest change in my life was when I was working for corporation for almost 10 years. So my life is pretty much like just 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It just doesn't change. And then each year you probably get 2 to 3 weeks of vacation, and that's pretty much it. So I had this dream that I wanted to travel around the world, and at the time I didn't know how to start, so I basically just keep saving money pretty much. So I keep saving money, and I had a plan for like 2 years or so, and then I guess when I felt ready, then I just went ahead and just quit my job and just went ahead for the traveling. Initially it was only for a year, because I thought the money I saved could probably only last 1 year. But when it reached 1 year, I feel like I have still a lot of reserve, so I just kept going, and then it becomes 18 months.
So how much money do you need to travel for a year or more? Because you said that you saved up money and then you had more, that's why you went for 18 months, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think you need to go on like such a trip?
Okay.
You know?
So at the time I saved around 40,000.
It's Canadian, right?
Yeah, Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saved around 40,000, and I think so by around 40,000 I should probably finish up within a year. But by the time I think I hit like 12 months, I think I still have about 12,000 or something like more than that left. So I just felt like, okay, I can just keep going. So by the time I actually came back from my trip, I think I have only about 3,000 left or something in my whole budget. So yeah, it kind of worked out well. But I mean, 18 months is quite long, right? So
yeah, it is. But I think 18 months is the perfect time. I think 1 year is not enough. I think 18 months is like the more like, yeah, this is a good amount, to hit your whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah. I think any country, like even if you visit like for a year, like I think some country you do need to take time to explore. I went to about 23 countries, and I think that just like even some country I was there for like 3 weeks or something. Some few countries I went, I basically went to stay about 2 months or something, but like even that time frame, I didn't think it was enough for me to explore everything. But it's good to see the country, but it's just not enough. But I hope I could have spent longer, but I think it was give me a good taste of the country.
So more like a taster, like an appetizer.
Yeah.
How did you save up for the trip? Because like, did you get like 2 jobs, 3 jobs? Did you have to do like extra like freelancing work on the side?
Yeah. So at the time I was a full-time web designer. Just to remind you, at the time I was making quite a good income. I think I was making about 80,000 a year at the time. Yeah, and then plus like I have freelance on the side, so I work daytime and evening, and just try to make as much cash as I can. Okay, and then so when you get paid for the money, then you just set up like automatic savings just to make sure you save like 1,000 or 2,000 at a time. Just put it away, and then I think the most difficult part was when to know to say, okay, I'm done. I am going to go travel. Okay, so it was very difficult at the time to kind of like quit the job, because now you are cutting off on this getting paid every 2 weeks. So you would have to kind of like take that step out and just to hand over to the company, said, okay, I'm not gonna work here anymore, right? Because at the time I planned it to the fact, okay, when I reach this money, then I'm gonna quit it, and I just give my company like 2 weeks notice, and then the 2 days before my last day, I basically say goodbye to my coworker, and then 2 days after I flew out. Yeah.
So, at that time period, you were going through some relationship problems with your ex-husband, and you guys ended up getting divorced. Did you already want to travel around the world before that even happened? Like, was that already in the back of your mind that you wanted to travel, or was it like the divorce that kind of helped push you to, just getting it done, doing it faster, or it had nothing to do with that at all?
I think kind of both, because in the beginning, my planning was actually to do it. I thought this trip is gonna be me and my ex-husband.
Okay. Oh, so it's be a couple's trip.
Yeah.
I see.
But then again, he wasn't in the same. He doesn't have. We don't have the same dream and same mindset. So he doesn't really wanted to travel.
Okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately, obviously it didn't work out, and obviously our relationship went sour. I think it's just better for us to depart. And then I guess when I departed and I just go like, okay, I save enough money, then I just quit my job, and then I divorced this guy, and then I just went ahead and for traveling.
Did that make you more motivated to travel after the divorce? Was it like, it's like, what, I don't want to deal with, there's a lot of bullshit that I have to deal with like here in my life. In Canada, it would also be nice to just get out of here and just like have a fresh start.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like, I think a lot of people, when they go through divorce is a very difficult thing. A lot of people, if they, never been through divorce, they probably don't know. But when you go through divorce, it's like a really bad breakup. So you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, sure, you just break up. But then when you get to like relationship, when you actually married someone, and then you want to break up, it's difficult, and you have to go through all those legal procedures, anything. I don't have any kids or anything, so it's a little bit easier. And then we didn't really have much of shared assets, so it was just pretty much easier. But the thing is, at the time, I think obviously it was a very downtime in my life, and then just happened to be I'm going on this trip. It was great because it's become some sort of like quite a good journey for me to heal myself. And then when you have every day you have something similar, like it's new things to see, then it's very quite stimulating and just kind of like change your perspective. I think this trip actually changed me with a lot of perspective of around the world itself, around the people, around myself. Yeah.
What was your mindset like before you left Canada for that big 18 months around the world? What were you like, and what changed in that journey, as you went from country to country, living abroad for 18 months, and then coming back, and suddenly you've had this experience, you were in a bad place before, and now you are in a completely different place. So what was the transformation like,
I think if you never really did a big traveling, especially being in a first world country like this, a lot of things that you kind of like take it for granted, So when I first country I actually flew out to was actually Peru. And then I always remember the first time I went to Peru and I rented this place in Airbnb, whatever. It was nice. I got my own like bed and everything. And then the first thing I turned on in the morning was the faucet. The faucet there was no hot water. And then I was just like, what? Not quite sure. I was like, is there something wrong with the faucet or like anything? So at the time, I just couldn't get used to the fact there wasn't any hot water. And then when I traveled around the country, and I stayed in guest house and everything, and then I just realized, oh my God, hot water. It's a privilege. Yeah. So then it's it kind of like made shift my mindset quite a bit to the fact to know like we live in a really nice country with a lot of things given to you. Yeah. So it was nice. It was just kind of like understand before I was traveling, I was maybe those type of people who just feel like entitled. Things should be like in a certain way. I was really stubborn, and then I was very narrow-minded and everything. But once you actually move out and go traveling, then you kind of like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is gonna, a lot of things. Also, things you also make you more cautious. Like you just think about, oh, okay. People are nice in a way, but you also have to be cautious about people trying to scam you and everything. Every day, scamming happen all the time. And you go to another country, negotiation, becomes like bargaining. It's a cultural thing, right? So you would have to learn how to bargain with people and everything. So in North America, it's rarely people bargain because that's just a culture. Like people just don't do that, right? But when you actually go to the city, the country, then you go like, oh, okay, now you have to learn all the other skills that you wouldn't have to do in your own country, right? So it's nice. It's a new skill obtained, and then so when I moved back here in Canada, then I talked to the people that. I used to live in Toronto for 15 years, and then now I moved to Vancouver. Then you meet also all kinds of people in different culture. Then you kind of can relate about their background and how they think, and then how when they speak and say things, and like okay, because that's the culture, that the way they are. Okay, yeah, just have to accept that just who they are, right?
Yeah, I found that really helpful because when I came back from my own 1-year trip. Because I've been to so many places, I can always tell people, so, oh yeah, I've been to your country. Oh yeah, I've been to your country. And they're like, what? You've been to my country? It's like, who goes to my country? Like, yeah, I did, Like the weirdest place, like I've been there, So I think that's really good at like building connections. I think even now at your line of work, do you find that helps you with like building bridges with people that they would never assume that, oh, you know so much about my country.
Yeah, like I'm a rental property manager now in Vancouver. So I have to meet with all types of people from they could be from South America, they could be from Asia, they could be from anywhere from Europe. And it's kind of nice to be able to talk to them and connect with them in a way. It's just like, oh, they're Brazilian. And I said, okay, I was in Brazil for 3 months. Where are we from and everything. Yeah. So you create a lot of conversation going on. And then that's kind of like, it's nice to connect with people. Because here, so when people don't know anything, but then if you've been to where they come from, they love to talk to you, right? So it's a good way to just get, conversation started and then just get connected that way.
Yeah, I never think about like the benefits that travel has for your career, but I guess it does have like a lot of perks that you don't even think about later on. A lot of it's soft skills, obviously, but it's still really helpful. Yeah. I think it's almost like a shortcut to building rapport with someone, because if you have to get to know someone here, it might take some time, but if you've already been to their country, you've already experienced their culture, you've already seen what their homeland is like, then it's almost like, wow, okay, like who are they gonna trust, right? Obviously the person that understands them, and you understand them because you've been there.
Yeah.
So when you travel, the 3 biggest expenses that you have is transportation, mainly flights, but also taxis and trains and buses. Trains and buses are not so expensive, but mainly flights and taxis.
Yeah.
Second most expensive part of your travel expense is accommodation, and third one is food. So why don't we start with the first one, with transportation. So how did you save money on flights? Because that's the one that's gonna prevent a lot of people from traveling, is the cost of flying. I mean, it's cheaper now, cheaper than ever before, but still.
Yeah. So flying, I'm still pretty traditional. I mean, I book a flight and then I basically I try to go to a continent. It's like, for example, if I arrive in South America, then I would just try to fly in to the continent pretty much first, going to the country first, and then I go around with buses, taxi, whatever, like, anything that's ground that's just a little bit cheaper. The only thing only country that I have been, I actually had to fly a lot, was Brazil. I was in Brazil for 3 months, and then Brazil is a giant country. If you look at the map, it's like takes up 2/3 of the size of the South America, right? So at the time, a lot of people, they were thinking, okay, we should save money to take buses and everything. But then it was just, the country still not stabilized yet. There's a lot of robbery going on. So at the time, I find it's funny because if I'm a foreigner trying to book a flight ticket, I would have to pay double the price to go to any city. So at the time, I had people I met, they are like Brazilian, and they are so nice. They just go like, okay, I'll book the ticket for you, and then you just pay me. So as a local Brazilian, they actually be able to get the flight for me for half the price. So instead of $300 I would have paid, then they only paid like $100.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was good. So I actually just been traveling around Brazil like 3 months, and I've been flying most of the time to different city, and then it's all getting help by my nice Brazilian friends, and then to book all the tickets for me to go around. So it was super nice. Yeah. And then if you go to obviously if you go to Europe, a lot of times you can actually fly within the country, within the city, in the different country, because they're so close. I don't know, the time there's just like Ryanair or something, there's some cheap cheap basically the flights that you can get around. So it's good. I think probably the most expensive flight that you actually fly around that's probably just Canada itself.
Yeah.
Everywhere is so cheap. I don't know why. It is Canada within Canada. It's so expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheaper to go to like Hong Kong or Taiwan than to Toronto, which is really stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of funny you mentioned Brazil because you even told me this advice before I even left for my own 1-year trip that you should get a local to book your flight, and I didn't do that, and I did pay the $300 that you were telling me, and the bad thing is you already told me before I left that I should just get a local, but I guess I didn't have any Brazilian friends at the time, so that's why I didn't make the booking.
Yeah. Yeah, but that saves so much money because especially if you're there for 3 months, that's expensive adds up. Yeah.
What about taxis? Taxis are so expensive. Like I remember Brazil, it was like the worst. It was like I took like a 5-minute taxi ride for like $20 or something. It was ridiculous. So how did you get around saving money on taxis?
I think that is just difficult. I mean, you can't really save much with the taxi. And right now you have Uber, it's a little bit easier.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, but before then, Uber wasn't exist yet. Like when I would have to say when I started my trip, I have to say that was like 2011, and then I finished around 2013. So you see that's a couple years, probably at least 7 years back, right? And then Uber hasn't really started yet. So I still have to rely on taxis and bus or local transportation. Depends on which country you go. They have like India has like tuk-tuk and everything. Well, it's just annoying because it's like with no standardized fare that you just have to negotiate all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got lucky because I traveled later than you. So not all places had Uber obviously, but the big cities usually had Uber. So like even Cairo, which was really bad for taxis, but I had Uber, and we ended up hiring the Uber driver to drive us everywhere because seems like the Uber drivers were more honest than the actual taxi drivers. So that's quite funny. But anyway, so tell us the quickest story of that Filipino person that tried scamming you in the Philippines. The one you tried to punch.
Yeah. But like Philippines is so bad with like there's so many fake taxis. Yeah. And then so I went to a trip to the north, and then coming back to Manila, and obviously Manila is not a great city to start with. Okay. So I got off the bus, and then so I just jump in, and at the time I was traveling with this guy who was like 20 years old, just graduated from high school, and then he's like from Denmark, so like he was just like nice and innocent. So he and me just jumping into this taxi, and then when the taxi start go in, and then the meter runs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was just so fast, and I was like, this is not legit, because how can your meter go so fast within like a second? So I told the guy, I was like, okay, I'm sorry, but I think you're fake. This is too expensive. And then he just basically wouldn't let us go, and then I was ready to punch the guy, and then the guy, the little guy was traveling with me, and he was just so like scared because hold on to his bag, and then anyway, so we negotiated. So I'll just pay you like 100 pesos. We're gonna get out of here, and then so basically the guy let us go, and then we just had to hold on to a different taxi. But the thing is, like those kind of countrymen, you gotta have to fight your right, because they know that they think you are like tourists and then you are innocent, and if you don't fight it, then they just think that you can be taken advantage of, right? So
yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. Yeah, especially because you scared that taxi driver and the fellow backpacker. So I think that was really good. Okay, so we got the taxis. What about accommodation? How did you save money on accommodation?
Well, most of the time, like I say, South America, it's all mostly hostels.
Okay.
Okay, because hostels is not expensive. They are like super cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing is when I get into Europe, accommodation become expensive. So I think I spend 2/3 of my time actually in Europe. It's all in Couchsurfing. Okay, so Couchsurfing plus I actually met friends when I was in South America. They're all like from Europe, so I just go crash their house. So like I basically travel the entire Germany for free because it's like I just have so many friends from Germany. I just go there and crash a couch. And then Couchsurfing helped a lot, so I get to meet a lot of like local people. I think it's like they probably couldn't travel themselves due to work restrictions or whatever, so they welcome all those like Couchsurfers to visit, right? So obviously, like I had such a good time, like in Europe, because it's just like, first of all, it's expensive. Like I think the most expensive one I went is probably Switzerland. Switzerland is super expensive. So I was lucky I didn't have to pay for any accommodation because I have a lot of friends from Switzerland. So every single city I go, there always someone is living there, and plus the couchsurfing. So I was saving quite a bit of money on just accommodation. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did the exact same thing as Patty said. She actually gave me this tip actually. That's why I went to Europe last during my trip, and I was, I'm not a girl, so I'm not gonna be as couchsurfing and that kind of stuff is not gonna be as easy for me. But I did stay in a lot of people's places. I was surprised. There was at least like 9 or 10 different European friends that I made. Not Germans though. I didn't have any luck making friends with Germans when I was backpacking. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like I don't mesh with that culture very well. But I mean, I had German friends. Like I stayed in Constance with a German friend there. But but even they were pretty serious. Like serious people. But yeah, like I was in the Netherlands, I was in Ukraine. Ukraine was awesome. Denmark. So I did have like the UK. The UK was a good one. It was nice to have a friend there because it's so expensive in the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was Scotland. I went to Scotland. I stayed in a farm, so that was amazing. So yeah, definitely Patty's advice when it comes to go to Europe last if you go backpacking. Make a lot of European friends and then go visit them later on. Not just because you're like mooching off them. Like you can invite them to come back to Canada, but
yeah.
I invited. No one came here because they said that Canada's for old people. So
what? Well, the same thing I did is like even right now, like I don't do those big travel anymore. So whenever I go to meet those people, I still keep my connections, right?
Yeah.
So then I say to them, it's like if you come to Vancouver, no worries, your accommodation taken care of. I can take you anywhere, right? So
did anyone come from Europe?
Nobody.
Zero. Yeah, zero. Exactly. So I'm saying like Patty, I offered it. No one came.
No one came. Yeah.
No one came. Yeah. One person actually told me we'll come once we're older. So.
Oh, so sad.
Because they said it's for old people.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a serious question. Well, kind of serious. So, our fellow friend Stephanie C, she does a lot of couch surfing, and she's quite hardcore as a traveler. Like she slept outside in Europe to save money. Like you found friends to go stay in their place, but she literally just slept on a phone booth standing up. I don't even know how you do that, but she said she fell asleep standing up on a phone booth.
Oh my god. Okay.
So one of the things that she said to me was that as a couch surfer, she oftentimes gets a lot of unwanted sexual propositions. So did you ever get in that situation where, like, 'cause, like a lot of women might be wary of that, right? Like, oh, I don't want to go couch surfing. They're gonna ask,
but the thing is, I was pretty lucky, except this one host. I find him as a little bit strange. That was in Amsterdam. He had 2 rooms with like 2 beds and everything. And at the time, he would just continue to invite female couch surfers, only females. And then so at the time I was I sent a request and he said, hey, welcome to my homes and everything. So the time when I went, there was another girl. So that girl's about to leave. So, and I said, okay, then I'll just take the second bedroom bed or something. He said, no problem. However, on the same night, he has different girls come in. And I was like, okay. So the other girl showed up and she slept on the couch. And for some reason, he invited another girl. So now we have 3 girls, and there's only 2 beds and 1 couch.
Yeah.
And then so he just asked us, like, he basically said, okay, so now we have 3 girls, and we have basically total 4 people.
Yeah.
We only have 1 single bed, 1 couch, and then my bed. And then so he literally just asked one of the girl and go, do you want to share a bed with me? And then that couch surfer, that the other girl, she's so cool. She's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I was like, that's why.
I guess the reason why they do it is because it does work.
Yeah. And then so I was just like, okay, this guy's a bit weird. So I basically cut my trip short.
Yeah. Where was this? Which country was this?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Okay.
So I cut my trip short and I go to another city instead.
Yeah.
So I met another different host, a super nice, cool guy. I think he's in his 50s, but he looks like 35. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he's super active and everything. And he just like lended me his place to sleep. But then again, this one is not when you do couch surfing, it's not something you're gonna be something luxurious that you're gonna have a bed always. No. So he basically has a closet. He just put some sort of foam pad for me to sleep on the floor on the closet.
Yeah,
but it's fine, but it's cool, but it's just
part
like
of adventure.
But with the couch surfing, it's like you should never expect you're gonna have an actual bed. You're probably gonna sleep on a I don't know, bean bag or sleep on a corner or something like that, whatever is the space that's called. Yeah. So
Oh my God, you should talk to Stephanie about how she deals with those unwanted propositions in those Couchsurfing. It's so crazy the way she does it. It's just so like hard, like.
Yeah, so
like
like,
extreme.
and then there's one time I remember I was gonna go to Turkey to Istanbul, and then I actually put a request to go to Istanbul as well, and then it was like once I sent the request out, I had like 50 men sending me email, says I'll come to my house, come to my house. So I was like, I'm not going to your house, and then so then at the end I found out just okay, all the requests is mostly men, so I just said forget it. I ended up just renting they just get a hostel.
Yeah.
And then stay in the city or something. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's funny. I've never experienced this because I'm a guy. So
No, guys just get rejected. They don't get
we just get rejected. It's horrible. We have like I did couch surf, but it's very like rare that I got a host. It just it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I had to end up doing work away, which was really good. I got a lot of volunteer work.
Yeah.
But the couch surfing, it's better for women, for obvious reasons. But
yeah.
so just have to be aware of that if you're doing it. I think you have to be a strong personality too, because I think if you don't have a strong personality, you will probably get taken advantage of. Okay, so we got accommodation down. What about food? How did you care about like saving money for food? I know for a lot of people, traveling for them is all about trying different foods. So like for them, that's kind of where they would splurge. So were you kind of like the kind of person that tried to save as much money when it comes to food, or you didn't care when it comes to food?
Well, it depends on where I go, right? Because like sometimes if you're by yourself, like you have many new people to go out, then I just try to eat. I eat a lot of street food. I just eat whatever they sell on the street. And some hostel they would have kitchen, then I would just cook them, right? So like, so some places like okay, like if you go there and it's not easy to cook or anything, then I would just rather to find street food. Especially some countries, street food is so cheap. Like go to Thailand. It's so cheap. Why would you cook inside? And nobody ever cook inside. So
it's more expensive to cook than eat out.
Yeah. So I would just like I'm the type of person who will try different type of street food. But I still go to restaurant. But it depends on if I meet people, because I don't like to go to restaurant by myself. It's kind of like too much food, right? Because it's just not the portion that I can't handle it myself.
Yeah.
But if I meet people, I say in the hostel or I guess I met like Couchsurfing host or something, I'll just take them out for like dinners and anything, and then at least to try to do some local food and everything.
When you left to travel, so we covered pretty much all the financial stuff now that people would worry about. I can't think of anything else that's like a huge financial cost. There's insurance obviously, but that's not it. Did you have a backup plan when you came back? Did you say, okay, this is my backup plan, like after my 1 year trip, this is what I'm gonna do next? Like, did you have a backup plan, or did you just say, I'm gonna travel first and we'll worry about that later on? Like, what was kind of like your thought process?
Yeah, I didn't really have a backup plan. What am I gonna do? Because at the time when I came back, I was thinking like, okay, if I should get another job in Toronto or I should move. But at the time, I think when I came back to Toronto, I already feel like I don't want to stay in Toronto anymore. Like it's kind of like it's not a city I want to keep staying in. And then I always had just basically Vancouver. It's always the city that I want to move back. So yeah, so
like you were in Vancouver originally?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my parents were like when we first moved here. Like my parents brought me here, so I studied high school here.
Oh, you grew up in Vancouver, and then you moved to Toronto for work. Did you go to school in Toronto also?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you moved there for school, and then you ended up getting a job there.
Yeah, so it's like 15 years I spent there.
And how many years were you in Vancouver before
like
that?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Oh, just high school.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So then I moved back. So basically, like I had a condo at the time. Obviously I worked and I saved, but probably real estate was cheap by then. So I bought a place when I was in my 20s. At the time, when I was traveling, I rented out my place too. So I actually had a little bit of supplement income from the rental.
So how did you collect the rental income when you were
I have a property manager just like me.
Oh, okay, I see. That's how it happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went and then basically when I moved back, I took back my condo, and then I lived there for like 3 months. I sold it, and then I packed everything. Not really packed everything. I got rid of everything, and then I only had 3 boxes of things came with me to Vancouver.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just the sentimental stuff, right?
Yeah. So that was it, and I just moved all the way here. I would never go back to that city. I like Vancouver, so I'm staying here.
So you want to go there for like layovers, I guess, not for like travel there.
Yeah, not living there again. No.
Never.
No.
It's also cold there, so.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so you didn't have a plan when you came back, and you just kind of hope for the best. When you I mean obviously things turned out fine. So
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the biggest benefit of traveling is that you become very good at adapting. So
Yeah.
But before you left and while you were traveling, what did your parents and your friends think of like you going on this trip? Like,
Well,
did you have any opinion on it?
Yeah, so like you get two sides of friends.
Yeah.
One side just says, "Oh my God, I'm excited for you to go on this trip because I'm stuck in this chair, and then I'm gonna see how you travel."
Yeah.
Another set of friends is like, "Are you sure you're gonna go? Because I mean, now you're gonna don't have a job and everything." So that's kind of like my parents. My parents are also like,
Okay.
yeah, they're pretty angry in the first. It's like,
They were angry?
yeah, because they're like, I'm quitting this well-paid job
Yeah.
to go quit my job for like a year, and then they just couldn't accept the fact, why would you do this? Why don't you just work until you are old and then you can go travel? I'm telling you, when you're old, you don't need to go travel. You're gonna need a wheelchair and then some medicine.
That's pretty dark. Well, if you don't eat healthy and work out, if you don't work out, so
Yeah. So like,
there's all people that travel.
yeah, but then like after
Yeah.
being in like South America, Southeast Asia, and also like like a not so first world country, some places are so rugged. When you're old, you probably don't even want to go there because it's too like rugged, and then
Yeah.
like it's too much work to go around because they're just not comfortable. If I'm old, I want to go travel somewhere comfortable. But if I'm young, then I can travel somewhere uncomfortable right now because I got the energy, right?
Yeah, I do think there are some windows or doors that will close to you as you get older. So there are things that you can only do when you're young. So I think that's a definitely good advice. Did you feel like you regretted not starting sooner? Like
Yeah, I do. I hope I could have started earlier.
like in your early 20s maybe?
Yeah, because a lot of people who are traveling around the world, they are all in their early 20s or mid 20s. I think it's good because it just kind of like opens up your mind and then just kind of be able to absorb different cultures out there, just a little bit more open-minded. Because when you started to like, when you get as you get older, you started kind of like people become stubborn and become narrow-minded and everything. So, and I think traveling is important. Like really, it educated you so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I didn't even know that traveling around the world was an option when I was a kid. Like I could have done it actually when I was 21. I had like a lot of savings when I was 21, and I could have done it, and I should have done it. I had a lot of problems back then. I think all those problems would have gone away had I just went backpacking.
Yeah.
And because when you're young too, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Like I can stay in a shithole, it's probably fine, right? Like I can, when you're a kid, when you're a freaking teenager or like early 20s, yeah, you can stay in a shit hostel. It's fine. They probably won't even bother you, right?
Yeah.
But when I traveled in my early 30s, like staying in those shithole hostels is pretty bad. Now, like even now, I don't even like staying at. Like I like to get my own private room now in hostels, or if I stay in a hostel, I like to get like the most expensive, like the 5-star hostels.
Yeah, your standard changes. Like your comfort zone become tighter when you go like when you're older. You're just like, I don't want to stay in a party hostel anymore. I want to stay in a small boutique one.
Oh my god, yeah, people puking and shit. Ugh.
Yeah. So it's a different phase. When you are traveling in your early 20s. When you're traveling in the 30s and when you're traveling in the 40s, they're all like different type and styles and everything. And budget obviously is different, right? So
yeah, I do think though the first time you do it, it's everything's a shock, right? So in a way, you can still get away with a bunch of stuff, not because you'll enjoy it or dislike it, because you don't know, right? Like for example, like in China, I was staying in a hostel and my bed was beside the toilet and it smelled dank. It was horrible, but I didn't know, so because it was the first time I did it, I didn't know, so now I have this funny story to tell people where, I had this bed beside this dank toilet, it was horrific, yeah. And so
yeah, so it also builds a really good story to tell to people when you come home.
Would you ever do it again? Because I know some people like they get addicted to it and they want to keep doing it. Like I have some friends that I met in Europe. There's a couple that I know that they're Dutch and Austrian couple, and they did it like twice already. And they're gonna do it a third time, and they did it a third time, So they just like love it, right? So what about you? Like, do you want to do it again? Do you want to go around the world or never again? You just want to go in like small spurts?
I think right now it's not in my plan right now. Maybe in the future I will. But
so you do want to? You are thinking about it? There's like a part of you that thinks about it?
Maybe in the future, but I think if I'm gonna do it again, it will be the different style.
So what's your style? Like if you were to do it again?
I would be more on the luxury type style.
Oh!
Right? Because when you're older, you have more budget.
So you want to be like a flash packer?
Yeah,
like
more than flash packer.
More than flash packer.
Right?
Yeah.
to go on a yacht or something, right? So it will be like a different type of traveling.
Yeah.
Different budget and everything, and right now I'm more focused on my career right now, so it's just like I'm trying to save as much money I can, and then so I can do more traveling in the future.
But you're still traveling a lot, like before the pandemic, that is. Like you were still, like you went to Papua New Guinea, you went on like a crazy diving trip.
Yeah.
So talk about like what your travel style is like right now, like before the pandemic happened. And
yeah, so right now, like I basically travel maybe about 2 months a year. And then
2 months a year? Oh,
yeah,
pretty
2
good.
months. Yeah, 2 months a year, and then to just pick a country, a country never been. So just go travel there or something. Just because it's like it wasn't in part of my 18 months trip, and then I just like to see a different countries as much as I can, right? So right now I do a lot of first world countries. So last time I went to Australia. That's a first world country, right? So and then. The year before I was in Iceland, I went to China, and I went to New Zealand. I spent a month in New Zealand and everything. So just because right now I have a little more budget to spend, and then I spend like probably 1 month in the country. So like right now I'm just more on a like more relaxed now. Like when I go to a third world country, I have to be more mentally prepared for a third world country. But when you go to first world country, you pack your bag and go there. You can buy anything there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a lot easier, to travels and everything.
When you came back from your 1 year trip, how did people react to you? Because when I came back from my 1 year trip, I had some coworkers that didn't even know I left. Because before I left, I asked my boss if I can get my job back when I came back, and I did get my job back, and like nothing happened pretty much. Like I was back in the same shifts, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then some coworkers, I told them I came back from my 1 year trip. They're like, "What? I thought you just changed shift. That's why I didn't see you." So it's like, oh, okay. So how did people react to you when you came back? Like, what was?
Well, they came back. I mean, everybody. It's funny because I came back and then everybody's life is still the same.
Yeah.
They're still in the same job, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They didn't change. So some people even follow my trip from the start to the end, and then they were just telling me like, the time when you're away, I was here. I was sitting on the same chair.
Jesus.
So I don't know. Like I mean, people have different choices, right? Because I mean, for me, my choice was just kind of like I want to work this much, and then I want to go travel, and that was one of my goals before, and I achieved it.
Yeah.
Right now, I just had a different plan for like traveling. I don't travel the same style anymore. It's just like right now it's mostly like maybe 4 weeks here, 4 weeks there, or something.
So you don't stay in hostels anymore?
I do.
But you get your own private room now and stuff?
Yeah, but I go to a better hostel, maybe a little bit more like expensive one or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do the same thing. Me and my when I traveled with my girlfriend and my sisters, we have been staying at like nicer hostels now. Like the only time I would stay in a shitty hostel now is like if it's just like one night. Like I'm gonna fly tomorrow. I don't need some place, or I'm just waiting for my flight or something. I just need a place to hang out. Yeah, that's the only time I would just stay in a shitty place. It's like I just need some place to hang out anyways. What is travel to you? Like what is your purpose of traveling? Like why do you like traveling so much? Some people said traveling is just for like relaxing. Like what are you like? Are you doing it for relaxing or are you doing it for like adventure? Like what is your travel style?
Yeah, so I mean, I do kind of like have a little bit of everything, but I mean, for me to travel, to go outside, it's just to basically kind of like break the daily life circle, like the routine, just for a while, and then you come back to it, right? Because it's like I mean, every day is pretty much the same as we have right now, daily lives and everything. I see the same thing. I talk to around the same people. I just wanted something a little bit different. At least also first of all to meet new people, okay, from different countries, and then talk to different people, and also learn a thing or two there, right? Because every time you go to a new country, you always have to learn things about their culture, how they do things and things like that. So it was always interesting things to learn. So it's kind of like, first of all, it's a little bit like towards like, yeah, it is relaxing for me. It's meditative, and then also at the same time I get to reminding myself again, I am in a very comfortable first world country. Okay, like a lot of things does not work the way how it works here. So I always have to learn a new thing or two on a new country and everything. So it's always nice, yeah.
When you were traveling for 18 months, did you ever get lonely or homesick?
Lonely, I would say sometimes. You know, like when you go to a country, you just couldn't meet new people. You know, like some people, like for example, I went to Maldives. Okay, in Maldives, I did a stopover just because I had to go on this little boat, and that country was just there's a lot of tourists, but then the tourists they are all coupled. Okay, so they're all coupled because that's a honeymoon.
Yeah,
honeymoon country. So nobody's gonna really they are like they're going there. They're gonna check into their new their hotels
over the water bottle.
Yeah, so they are not really interested in trying to hang out with people and everything. So they have their own journey. So sometimes it's just like you get to a certain point. It's like some places it's just difficult to meet people, and then you just have to get used to. Okay, you would have to be alone by yourself or something, right? So.
Right. Yeah, I've experienced that where I went to some countries where I just made no friends. It just didn't happen. And then sometimes I go to a country, everyone's my friend. So it's like. Yeah, so I do relate to that. Homesick, you never got homesick? You didn't? Okay.
Not really, no.
Yeah, no, me neither. The only thing I missed when I was backpacking was Japanese food here, but that was it. Because I think the one thing I didn't know was that Vancouver had like such good food that like when I was backpacking I was like, oh my god, I miss the food in Vancouver. I can have anything I want.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't really much of homesicking for Toronto.
Yeah, no, yeah, you didn't even you didn't even care about Toronto, so.
Yeah.
What about for people who don't care to meet other people? Is there something for them for like traveling? I know there's people who travel, they don't care to meet someone new, right? Like my sister or my girlfriend.
It's good. I mean, for them, it's like, traveling, you don't need to meet people if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice to meet new people because you gotta know new things. You are there because of the people. But you can totally do this alone yourself if you want. But why would you not talk to people?
All right, so Patty, I'm gonna ask you a lot of like rapid fire questions, okay? So just give me some quick answers and short explanation. So, give me your favorite countries. No more than 5.
Oh my god. Oh, okay.
Top five.
Okay, I would say Thailand.
Number 1.
Yes, Thailand is my favorite.
Why? What is it about Thailand that you like?
I think it's probably because of the food.
Food, okay.
Food is so cheap. Yeah. And then people are nice, and then just so much things to do in Thailand.
Okay.
You got the beach, you got the temperature, and everything.
Gotcha.
I love Thailand. Okay.
Number 1. Okay. Number 2.
Number 2, I have to say Brazil.
Brazil. Oh, okay. Why Brazil?
Because then again, people are nice.
Yeah.
That country has so much beautiful landscape.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a very wonderful country to travel in.
It's expensive in Brazil though.
Depends on where. If you go north, it's cheaper.
Was it cheap in Jericoacoa when you went there?
I think my hostel was like $15 a night or something.
Oh, that's not bad at all. No, okay, I see.
Yeah, so
okay.
But when you're in Rio de Janeiro, it's $50 a night. So you see the differences.
Yeah, Rio's. Yeah, those places. I found Brazil to be very expensive.
Yeah.
People are so nice there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that's number 2. What's number 3?
Number 3, I have to say Iceland.
Iceland. Okay.
Iceland is such a beautiful landscape. I can maybe if I would go there and just drive around the whole country for 2 weeks, 3 weeks if I want.
Take pictures.
Yeah, because there's so many beautiful landscape next to the road. Like it's just like it's there, right? So
yeah, and you're a landscape photographer too, right? Like,
as
a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. Yeah. Number 4, I would have to say. What country I like the most? Can I call my own country like Taiwan?
Yeah, of course. Taiwan?
Yeah, Taiwan's great because I came from Taiwan.
Yeah.
Even though I've been there like 20 times, but every time I go there, I probably gain like 10 pounds. Okay.
So it's food then. You love traveling for food then. Yeah, that's like the common theme here.
Yeah.
Brazil is good food too. So.
Yeah. Well, not Iceland. Iceland is no good. Like Iceland,
no, but Iceland's for the view.
Yeah, Iceland is for like you love landscape, like which is like me. I love landscape. I love hiking.
Landscape and food. Yeah. So hiking, take pictures, then eat like a monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one I would say like Peru. Peru is always on my top 5 always.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it about Peru? Landscape also, or?
Yeah, landscape, and you have like you have like jungles you can go, and also the high mountains you can go. So there's 2 different extreme type. Yeah, it's beautiful.
What about countries you hated or dislike?
I want to say I have a hate and love relationship with India.
India, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is it about India that?
India, it's like like people, like literally, if you know people there, they treat you like like a king and queen. But if you don't know anybody there, they treat you like so like you get scammed inside and out, upside and down. It's like, oh, so annoying. So annoying. Like with all those tuk-tuk drivers, they're so annoying. I mean, the country itself it's amazing. There's so many things you can visit. So many things you can see.
Yeah.
However, when you want to try to get around, you have to always dealing with like tuk-tuk drivers, and then half of them they try to scam you. Oh, so annoying.
So annoying. It's not worth. It's not worth the effort.
Yeah.
Is that the only country you dislike, or is there like, do you have a top 5 dislike country also, or maybe top 3 or something?
I don't really have any opinion. Say something like I don't like that country.
Okay, so there's only one country that you had that
Yeah,
feeling.
I had a like a hate and love situation with India.
Love hate with India. Okay, got it. So for anyone that wants to travel but they're scared, like they have a safety issue. Maybe they're a woman and they wanted to go on a solo female travel, and they're scared. Scared for the safety. What advice can you give them to?
I think just go pick a country that's actually easy to travel with to start with. But if you don't have a lot of budget, like say some people just like, okay, I don't have a lot of budget, but I also afraid of going travel on my own. I think to start with South America is a good idea. Start with South America. Start with stay in a hostel so you get to new people. So like in South America, staying in hostel is very common. A lot of people traveling there by themselves. Okay, so that's quite easy to book and then easy to go around. So we can start with that, right? And same thing in Southeast Asia, Thailand, super easy. You can also always just book a trip to go there. Same thing, hostel. There's a bunch of hostels you can choose from. Same thing with Malaysia. They are like super nice people and everything. So you can always start there first, and then you work your way around. So when we're gonna actually meet people, then you gotta started to learn things here and there. Otherwise, if you have a little bit of a budget, then just go to like somewhere that's not a first world country. Go to like Australia, go to like New Zealand. It's like super easy.
So start somewhere that's more common.
Like when there's more travelers, and when there's more travelers, then you get to learn and get to people help you out and everything. Yeah.
So my question to you now is, how come you've never been to Africa?
It's on my plan. I just never been.
And I'm not talking about like Northern Africa, like Egypt or something. I'm talking about like Black Sub-Saharan Africa. Like
it was on my plan, but it was just I had a plan to even thinking like, okay, I need to put like Africa as one of my destinations, either this year or next year.
Yeah.
And the whole COVID thing
really?
happened.
You were gonna go to Africa?
Yeah.
Where in Africa?
At least started with Morocco or something.
That's no.
That part is still Africa.
No, I'm talking about Black Sub-Saharan Africa with like black. With black
anyways,
people.
So that continent I haven't been because I just never had a chance to go there, and I wanted to go, and it's just gonna take some time.
Where do you want to go in Sub-Saharan Africa? Not like those Egypt, Morocco places.
I don't know, like Madagascar. I want to go to Madagascar.
Oh, okay, Madagascar.
Yeah, so I want to go to Africa eventually somewhere. But I haven't been to.
Yeah, she's never been to Africa. Like of all places, she's never been to Africa.
Yeah, and I'm trying. I was trying to plan a trip this year, but then everything got canceled. And we don't know when is our next time we're gonna be able to travel freely, right?
That's my girlfriend's favorite continent is Africa. Like no contest. It's the number one favorite. It's my number 2. I like South America.
So it's better blow my mind when I go there.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. All right, Patty. So, what final message do you have to people who they want to do it but they're scared? Like, how can they press that? Hey, let's do it.
It's literally just do it. But you know what? Before that, really save a lot of money. Don't believe that people go, okay, you can travel on $5 a day. No. You should always put a little bit more budget more than that. Just saying. So I mean, this year nobody's going anywhere, so it's a good time to save money, right?
Well, if they have a job, yeah.
Save your money.
Yeah.
Basically, put automatic saving each month, whatever, and then we'll try to make side incomes or something. Try to boost up your savings and. When I started saving my trip, it's not just saving for the trip. I have other backup fund. Okay, my property, my assets is one of them because if I come back, where I'm gonna stay, right? So that was one of my basically my backup. Saying I come back, I don't have a job, but at least I have my own place I can stay. But a lot of people they come out, they probably don't even have their own place. Then there's a lot of on the trip itself. There's also a lot of unexpected bill. Okay, so maybe there's emergency, maybe there's a you lost a flight somewhere, you have to rebook it or something. So you always have to budget a little bit more, but those extras onto your savings. Yeah, so just be a little bit more conscious. I think it's just like as long as you get your your money part out of the way, then anything is easy.
Gotcha. It's like, what's your favorite saying, Patty? I want to hear your line. That
what is my line?
it's like, if money can solve it, it's not a problem or something.
Yeah, if money can solve it, it's not a problem.
There you go. I love that line.
You can't solve it by money. We got a huge major problem.
Yeah. There you go. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for doing the interview, Patty.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.